Hello, hello, hi, hi. If you can hear me well, drop a message in the chat. I would like to hear from y'all. Hello, Alex. Hi, Melvin. Hello. Good evenings. Good to see y'all again. Good to hear from y'all. Hi, Mabel. Hi, Susan. Thank you for joining the session. We will get started in about 2 minutes. So let's just give a few minutes for others to join in. Let the people get in and we can get started. Hope everyone is doing good. I finally managed to get back to our live trading session. So, live market analysis. So, let's take a look about it. So, again, welcome everyone. Welcome to my sessions, Investing Insights with SK. So today, I'm going to share some of the outlook about the market, especially S&P 500. We will look at various index, and we will also look at the that I do. My name is Prilo. Keep it short. Call me SK. I've been an investor. I've been a financial speaker for the years. Primary focus expert. Have invested in Malaysia, Singapore, Hong Kong, UK itself, and primarily right now, been for the last 10 years, it's been US market. All right. And before I get started, just give me a minute. I would like to uh, put in an important notice and disclaimer. All content presented in our webinars and material is based solely on my personal trading experience, accumulated over 15 years of self-taught and my own successful self-directed trading. All right. So today's session is purely educational, independence. I'm not affiliated with any financial institutions, nor do I promote any third-party financial products. Not financial advice. I do not provide personalized financial advice or stock tips and personal capacity. All my stock analysis and insights are derived from my own knowledge and a personal capacity. All right. Okay. Let's get started. Let me just quickly check my Zoom if it's everything is all good. Okay, excellent. Let's get started. So, market has been, I'm not sure how many of y'all say it's bearish. Do y'all see it as a bearish right now? Anyone has any thoughts about how do y'all see the market? Is it bearish? Is it still bullish? Or do y'all feel it's not moving anywhere? What is your take? And well, bullish, Jess says bullish. Anyone else have any other thoughts? Thanks, Jess. Thanks for your thoughts. So, this week's topic, weekly market outlook. Another topic that I have for y'all is NVIDIA. It's a very interesting stock because that is pretty much the focus of the market for every single day. NVIDIA, especially when the earnings announced, especially just like yesterday after the market closed, the earnings was announced. And today we can see the futures kind of like jumped a lot. It's just jumped about more than 1%. Especially, I think Nasdaq has jumped almost. The futures has actually jumped about 1.7%. Susan says confusing. Like, yep, it can look confusing, but let's take a look and see how we can clear the confusion, Susan. Let's see how we can go about looking at the market, looking without getting ourselves distracted by what is happening in the market from day to day, and see if we can come out with a good conclusion of where do you think the market is probably going and how we can position ourselves. All right. So weekly market outlook is our first one, and then NVIDIA, and then the Q&A session if you do have any questions. So the weekly market outlook, momentum is definitely weakening, but you got to remember about seasonal trends as well. So we will talk about this shortly, but in a summary, definitely the market is weakening, and I will share with you why do I say the momentum is so weakening. And the seasonal trend, as I have shared in the previous sessions, that November to December, actually driving from October, but November towards December is most of the time been a bullish month. So November is turning out to be a bit more bearish. No, I wouldn't say bearish, that's not the right word. It has been going down a bit. It's been correcting itself, but I see it as more as a healthy correction. So seasonal trends, we got to keep that in mind, and sometimes this can bring in quite a bullish month from November leading to December. So let's take a look at the market. So I also always say, and most of you all know that I always start the market with market analysis with me, looking at a very bigger picture. I'm seeing on the long term, because that helps me to know where the market is roughly. It gives a quick outlook of where the market is. And looking at the market and looking at the channels that I've drawn this over here, you can clearly see that it has gone or beyond, and this is not a healthy state for the market to be. All right. And it is clearly very much in an overbought region from a long-term perspective. And if you want to see a very quick way of looking at whether it's overbought, that's like totally extended to the upper end, you can just take a look at the MACD over here. You can see how high it is. And I don't think we have seen something that high before, kind of thing. So it is an extremely overbought region. It is very extreme. So extreme means two things. So when it's extreme, it's not easy for the market to break down because the momentum, because the whole sentiment is still very positive. So that is why it's very hard for it to just come down in a day or two or just like that. So the market, and you remember this, when the market is going up, any stock itself, when it's going up in a trend, it's very hard for it to break the trend unless something really drastic changes. The same thing over here as well for S&P 500. Right now, it's very bullish. Something just has to come in to trigger it. And trust me, that something will definitely come. It's just a matter of time. And when that comes, you will see the correction. All right. So S&P 500 is at the upper end, at the most extreme side. And one interesting observation that we can also derive from here is assuming the candle remains as it is like this till the end of November, which we have about, I think, about another 10 days. So you can see that in a monthly chart, remember this is a monthly chart. Every time it goes up and then you see a red candle, goes up, you see a red candle, goes up, you see a red candle. It is usually followed by a good, healthy correction. So over here, you can see after the red candle, sometimes it just oscillates a bit before the drastic drop. See over here, the same drastic drop. And over here, you kind of get the thing once it has reached the peak. So assuming November stays as how it is over here, or probably slightly lower, we might be talking about a good correction around coming up around the corner. So if I were to summarize based on this, my take is going bullish the current market is going to be it's not to say you can't, but you're taking an elevated risk. So remember, if you are managing your profile, your portfolio, and you got to be very careful about what kind of investor you are. If you think risk is something that you are used to, you know how to keep your emotion control, you know how to cut loss fast, then you can still go in a bullish moment, bullish position. But if you're not, you prefer to be on the safer side, this is not the right time to go bullish. All right, so that is the monthly chart. Let's just take a quick look at the weekly ones. So if you can see over here, we have the 20 weeks moving average. And usually when I say the market is extended, then the it usually comes down at least for a first retracement. It actually comes down to the 20 weeks moving average. You can see the same over here, comes down and goes back up, comes down, goes back up. And looking at the how the market is going to jump today at the opening, because that's pretty obvious from the futures. If you are not used to seeing it from futures, you can just type this and you can see SUPS. And you can see how much it has jumped, 1.27%. So that's pretty much how the market is going to open. And if this is the Nasdaq, you can see it's actually at around 1.8%. That's pretty much how much it's going to jump at the beginning on the market opening today. So going back to our S&P 500, so that's going to be a jump from the 20 something around the 20 weeks. But again, as I've mentioned, from my own perspective, from my own analysis, from my own how putting aside all the news, and I'm just purely based on a technical analysis, this rebound is going to be very the rebound is going to probably test somewhere around here, but I have a very strong doubt that it will be able to break beyond the previous high. And even if it did, it's just going to be a very brief break before it comes down, because it's already overextended. Everything is already everything is already at a very overbought region, including a lot of the other stocks as well, like all the tech stocks. So a healthy correction is definitely needed. And it will come. It will definitely come. And we are at the right place for us to expect that kind of retracement, that kind of correction. It's just a matter of time. So keep it simple. Let's not get confused ourselves. If you are a mid-level risk taker to a lower risk level risk taker, then this is a market where you do not attempt a bullish position. Yes, if you think that you are a long-term investor, you're going to buy and keep, that's a whole different perspective. But if you're looking into mid-term to short-term, today is not the day for you to start investing. Hold on. Yes, there is also a term where they say staying in the market is more important than timing the market. But let's keep to a logic. I do not say I do not agree with that. But if you know you are at a very extreme over here, why take that risk? Just hold on a bit. Correction will come in, and you don't even have to wait till it comes down over here. As long as it comes down somewhere around here, you're good to buy, assuming you are a long-term investor. So that is on the weekly chart, and on a daily chart, there's also some interesting something over here. So from a daily chart, usually this already stays like some analysis. They will say this is already like a downtrend because of this. You can see a lower high and lower low. So lower low, lower high and lower low. But as I always say, I do not like to conclude the trends just purely based on our daily analysis, a daily chart, because daily charts can be quite jumpy, can be a bit more noisy. So that is the reason why I kind of don't like to conclude the trend just based on daily chart. But if you're just going to look at this, okay, so I'm just going to clear the drawings. So if you're going to just see like this, and let me do this, you can also see this one. So there's a clear trend over here, and let me just zoom in a bit. And let me probably take out that this for a while, which is the 20, and you can see the trend. Duplicate and go up, and there you go. So that's basically where it has been moving most of the time, and we have now broken below it. This is another week. So definitely the market has weakened. The momentum is diminishing, but now with today's opening, it's going to be a crucial thing. You got to see if that spike can actually hold. And do remember there's something coming up tomorrow. What is that? What is that one thing that is coming up tomorrow which can also affect the market? Anyone? You all know? Yes, NFP. So if you're going to be a active trader, then you got to be careful because NFP can move the market a lot as well. And if you are a medium to safe investor, then now is not the time. So because it has shown that it has broken below it, and for it, and it just let me just give you some insights. If you ever want to know if the bullish sentiment is back, then on a daily chart, if you look at this um, movement, it's very important that this price, this is what they call price action analysis. This price has to jump back into this channel. If not, then that down movement will continue. So that is pretty much what we can see from S&P 500. So if I were to conclude for y'all, on a daily chart, it has broken the trend. On a weekly chart, it is almost there as well, kind of breaking. But we got to keep in view that from a very long-term perspective or in any perspective that you see, we are at a very much overbought. Everything is pricey. And if you go with the mind that I buy a product, I like to buy a product when it is at discount, then now is not the place or the time for you to buy anything in the stock market because everything is expensive. You are not getting anything at a discount. And when the market really drops, when there's a discount, then that's where you're supposed to go and buy. Okay, so that is pretty much the conclusion. So the conclusion is market is definitely overbought, is weakening. There's a very good chance for it to come down, and the only it's just matter of time or a matter of one particular news to trigger it, and that might just happen anytime by end of this year or early next year. So if you really want to take a bullish position, you got to be very short term and you got to be very strict on your cut loss. Because if you're strict in the cut loss, then you got nothing to worry. If you're not, you can't control your emotion, then this is definitely something you want to keep away for now. Unless if you are looking at trading indexes or looking at trading futures or like futures options as well, and you want to go on the bearish position, yes, that could be one choice for you to go on a more like an options. You can sell calls options, sell call options, or buy put options kind of stuff. Yes, that is definitely a more safer approach than trying to take a long position. Okay, excellent. So that is the market outlook. If you do have any questions, feel free to drop it in the chat. I'm happy to answer those. So if we were to quickly run through the NASDAQ, you can see where NASDAQ is. And if I had to bring back my studies, I just like to have this 20 because it gives me a good insights. So if we change this to 20 years, we change this to months, and bum 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 bum. It takes time because it's a lot of data. The market is market is not opened yet. These are the time period that I don't really like because the market opens late. And yep, so if I were to drag this along, yep. So red candle, got to be careful. Red candle, got to be careful. So let's see how things goes, or how it turns out to be. So definitely, me personally, I'm being very careful. Unless I'm selling a call options, I'm trying to take bearish position, I'm more comfortable. I'm technically not taking any bullish positions at the moment. It's just I'm not ready to take such a drastic risk at the moment. And quick one, Dow Jones. So yep, so that's pretty much the same story. It has not come back to the 20 months for a very long. So matter of time before it comes down. So MACD also shows that it is weakening. RSI, it shows it's weakening. Let's take a look. All right, so that is what the overall weekly market outlook is. And right now, there's a very good chance for the market to jump, yes, but the room that it has for it to go higher is very limited. And I also have something interesting to share with you all shortly, because how the market movement is driven by some like another stock as well. So that is why I want to share something about Nvidia. Can it beat market estimations consistently? Everyone been talking about Nvidia, Nvidia, Nvidia. It's all about, I'm not sure if you all are aware, it's all about sentiment. Like every time the analyst comes out with an expectations, and when Nvidia beats it, the stock price goes up. Now, the next time when you have another earning, the analyst expects higher, and Nvidia bids it, goes higher. So it's nothing much about the value itself. It's all about this kind of sentiments. Now, obviously, in any logic, as the analyst estimates go higher and higher and higher, of course, they can keep doing that because that doesn't take money, anything else. But for Nvidia to keep performing at the level that is expected, it's going to become harder and harder and harder. Eventually, there'll come a date where they will miss, and that's when the market is going to tank. So it is very much driven by this point, the point of inflection point where NVIDIA eventually failed to beat the expectation because the expectation was just too high, then we will probably see a good correction. And if you want to see, you can also look at this. This is how the year-over-year revenue growth in terms of percentage. You can see it's actually declining, which is a normal thing. Like any companies, the revenue at the beginning will start growing very fast, but eventually it starts to stale, starts to move on a more on a horizontal direction. And you can also see the EPF performance, actual versus expected. So this is actual, this is expected. It's almost kind of close, but eventually when it comes to the date where it did not manage because it's just continues to keep going higher. So you see it's going higher, higher, and higher. So that's when that's going to be quite a tricky thing. So any one of y'all hold Nvidia stocks, and anyone have been enjoying the ride with Nvidia? Anyone here who wish to admit that they actually have an Nvidia stock? Did you buy it because you like it, or did you buy it just because everyone is talking about it? All right. So what I wanted to share about Nvidia, this is a very interesting observation. Let's look at Nvidia because it's very much related to what is happening right now, especially today. So this is Nvidia stock for the month, and you can see that if you have watched my video about the analysis that I had, you would have probably known by now that the space for it to go higher is extremely limited. Like today is going to open at 195 or something, and even if it goes higher, it's around 212 to 240. That's the range that we are talking about. But that's not the interesting part that I wanted to talk to you all. But what I wanted to talk to you all is something like this. So if you realize that, where do I have it? Is it here? No, this is not obvious. Come, let's look here. Okay, so let's see how things were in the previous earnings. So whenever they announced their earnings, how did the market move? How did the market react? Okay, so let's see. So this is so this was yesterday. So let's not take a look at it. Let's take a look at the last four. So if we come over here, earnings jumped. So you see over here, this is the earnings, right? So aftermarket, So this one you cannot count in. So after market, it actually announced nothing much. Next day, volatile go up and down. And then you continue, and then followed up by a drop. Let's take the next earnings. Let's take this one. This one as well. Am I right? Am I right? Am I right? 0.89, the market dropped. Sorry, 0.81, the market dropped. 0.89. Boom. Raised up. After market dropped. This one, same as well. After announcement, tried to go higher, then dropped. Now go higher in the day and then dropped. So pretty much that's the same pattern every single time. Nvidia announces its earnings late. There is a euphoria of buying, and then it diminishes quite fast. That euphoria just goes missing, and it is usually followed by more correction in the price. So why I'm sharing this is today's jump is going to be almost the same case as well. So today's jump is just going to jump higher, and either it won't be able to sustain it, or even if it manages to close higher today, you could expect in the next 2 to 3 days for it to retrace or correct. And looking at the sentiment of the market right now, there's a very good chance that after today's opening, maybe by end of today or maybe the next day, you can see some corrections to continuing after today. So today it's all about euphoria. It's all about Nvidia. It's just blind buying. Nothing much, no logic in that sense. Everyone just want to rush and get into the market and just take a quick profit probably. But if the market is able to if Nvidia price is able to sustain, then S&P 500 will also close positive. But the possibility of it continuing to hold positive for the next 2 to 3 days looks extremely weak based on what I've just shared. That every single time Nvidia announced it might go up the next day, but after that it kind of goes down. So when Nvidia goes down, it also drags the S&P 500 because it kind of has a lot of influence on all the other stocks as well, like like Nvidia AI. So that means AMD is going to be affected. You're going to see like Google and Apple and everything. So they all are going to be in a chain that gets affected. Whatever happens to Nvidia, because it's used as a benchmark for AI, like how much more room for the AI has to continue growing. So Nvidia, every time they beat the market, it tells them that AI still has room to grow. Then this kind of tech companies, all the Microsoft, Amazon, etc., so that also means they also have a lot of room to grow further. So this is just interrelations, intermarket analysis, and it is just going to keep going higher. But remember, not everything, it just cannot go up forever. It just has to come down. And based on what we saw, that's definitely what's probably going to happen in Nvidia in the next 2 to 3 days. Let's take a look and see if we are correct. And if you are correct, I will post it in our Telegram. I'll post a chart of it to show what has happened. Let's see if it actually goes down after today. Today doesn't count because usually after the earnings, yes, it spikes up, euphoria, buying activities, etc. Then after, back to reality. Okay, so if anyone have any questions, feel free to drop them. I'm happy to take in some questions. So we looked at the market outlook. We looked at Nvidia. And once I would also like to share with you probably one opportunity. One of the stocks like I used to buy a lot is because I like to accumulate whenever it goes down because I know it's just a matter of time before it goes up. So in this case of J&J, it was continuously going down, and presented itself as a very good opportunity to buy. So I was buying somewhere around here and such. And now you can see the price movement. Similarly, I have another possible opportunity like that. Would you like to know? Anyone? Would you like to know? But it takes a patience for you to look into this. All right. So it takes patience. It's not something for you to buy today and profit tomorrow. And if you are someone who is looking to probably profit something like this, like buying over here and seeing the JNJ going up all the way here, and I will share the stock personally with Alex because Alex is the only one who said yes. Is that fine with everyone? I'll drop him a message. All right. So I will share. Nah, not KMB, but this is a more safer one, actually, to be honest. It is PG. Many people won't be talking about PG right now because it's not attractive stock. It's not really sexy. That's not what PG is. But trust me, it has never failed to give the returns that it's always been giving the investors. So it has been going down because the focus has always been about tech stocks, tech stocks, tech stocks. So money goes away from this kind of consumer staples, consumer discretionary, and then goes to tech. Now, when the tech gets weaker, when they need to find where another place to put in the money, this is where PG, J&J sort of things starts coming up. So PG is the opportunity right now, and you got to be patient. Okay, that is the trick. So right now it is around 146. It might even go down later on today. You see, this is the usual thing. When tech goes up, this money goes away from this kind of boring stocks to this kind of attractive stocks like tech. Now, PG is here, and you can also see that. So it has been going up, and you may see like this, but it's just a matter of time before it starts rebounding again. So when it starts rebound, you can probably see 140 to about probably around 200. So that is about quite a decent amount of profit, I guess about 30% kind of thing. So this is a stock like you buy, if it continues to drop lower, you probably buy more, but there is no fear in buying this kind of stocks because they are just extremely safe. All right. So these are my personal take. This is how I personally see my own investment journeys with this kind of boring stocks. And if you do see yourself, you find this kind of stock suitable, then you can probably take that kind of decision as well. Okay. So that is basically what I wanted to share today. So S&P 500 is at the overbought. Be patient, just a matter of time before it comes down. If you ever go bullish position, try to be quick in, quick out. That will be the right strategy to use right now. Not something. It's not a point for you to buy and hold for a long term. Okay. And we have looked at Nvidia, as I always mentioned, Nvidia after earnings, most of the time good for 1 day, 2 days before it starts retracing again. And we have looked at PG, something similar to J&J, and I will have one last request. Probably I will look at Adobe. Adobe, I don't buy. The reason is I don't like these setups over here though. It definitely has gone up a lot. I'm not saying it cannot go up. This is just my personal preference, my personal take. I've seen this, I'm seeing this, so there's a lower high, and this is a low, and there's a very good chance that it is going to take another low. Now, if you do not know from a fundamental perspective, Adobe is another stock that has been affected by AI because they were very strong previously with their softwares in the photo editing industry. But now with AI, the need for it is getting lesser and lesser. So unless they revamp something to show that it is still relevant, so that is where all these companies that are affected by AI, they need to revamp themselves a bit, rebrand themselves a bit, and still say they are very much relevant, even in the AI days, in the AI world. So that is what basically investors are waiting with Adopt. Till they do that, this is just going to continue on a more of a retracement or maybe slightly on a downtrend move. So this is definitely not a good pattern, because if you see it's going up, 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 it's gone down, go up, and so that trend has changed. That's basically my point. The trend has changed. And as I've said, the trend usually does not just change. It's very hard for the trend to change, and be here, it definitely has changed. So I have a very strong feel that this is going to go down further before a good opportunity arises from Adopt. I'm not saying Adopt is just going to go missing. That's not the point. They still have a huge number of users. It's just the weak sentiment is probably has still more space to go before you see a healthy up move. All right. So thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed the analysis. So that's basically what I have today. Thank you very much for joining. And if you do have anyone who might find this beneficial, please share our Telegram to them. I will highly appreciate that. And I will continue to share more comments and post about the stock market in our Telegram channel. Thank you very much. Thank you, Grace. Thank you, Melvin. Thank you, Alex. Bye-bye and have a great day. And I'll catch up with y'all again soon. Bye-bye.